Hardy's tiptoed forward here and the flag has stayed down. It's Hardy, the door slams shut for now. Hardy again! Now this place feels like home park again! Rowdy, raucous, thunderous, with a big name running for cover, and another big goal from Ryan Hardy! Hardy's tiptoed forward here and the flag has stayed down. It's Hardy, the door slams shut for now. Hardy again! Now this place feels like home park again! Rowdy, raucous, thunderous, with a big name running for cover, and another big goal from Ryan Hardy! Hardy's tiptoed forward here and the flag has stayed down. It's Hardy, the door slams shut for now. Hardy again! Now this place feels like home park again! Rowdy, raucous, thunderous, with a big name running for cover, and another big goal from Ryan Hardy! Hardy's tiptoed forward here and the flag has stayed down. It's Hardy, the door slams shut for now. Hardy again! Now this place feels like home park again! Rowdy, raucous, thunderous, with a big name running for cover, and another big goal from Ryan Hardy! Hardy's tiptoed forward here and the flag has stayed down. It's Hardy, the door slams shut for now. Hardy again! Now this place feels like home park again! Rowdy, raucous, thunderous, with a big name running for cover, and another big goal from Ryan Hardy! Hardy's tiptoed forward here and the flag has stayed down. It's Hardy, the door slams shut for now. Hardy again! Now this place feels like home park again! Rowdy, raucous, thunderous, with a big name running for cover, and another big goal from Ryan Hardy! Hardy's tiptoed forward here and the flag has stayed down. It's Hardy, the door slams shut for now. Hardy again! Now this place feels like home park again! Rowdy, raucous, thunderous, with a big name running for cover, and another big goal from Ryan Hardy! Hardy's tiptoed forward here and the flag has stayed down. It's Hardy, the door slams shut for now. Hardy again! Now this place feels like home park again! Rowdy, raucous, thunderous, with a big name running for cover, and another big goal!
Evening, everybody. Welcome to the Block 9 podcast. Here we go. Ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, gather round for a tale not of prison bars and tunnels, but of grit, determination, and the beautiful game. Welcome to the podcast where every match is a daring escape from the clutches of defeat at the moment for Argyle. Like the legendary film, though, The Great Escape, it's all about meticulous planning and assembling the right team. Now, let's talk about the masterminds behind our escape. Yes, Adin Osman Basic, our tunnel digger, has finally broken through the visa barriers to join Miron Muslic, our chief escape artist, as assistant head coach. Evening, Adin. In the transfer market, it's like waiting for a bus in the dead of night. Nothing for ages, and suddenly two come at once. Yes, Maxi and Katic, our new recruits, arrived on Friday, stepping straight off the bus and into the fray. Plotting our escape from the jaws of relegation, we hope. It's no walk in the park, but with enough desire, fight, and sheer bloodied-minded determination, you can break free from anything. And did we do that? Yes, we did see that yesterday. So, Ryan Hardy, our very own Steve McQueen for that game, scoring not just the equaliser, but the winning goal, delivering us not just a win, but our first league victory in 88 long, grueling days. So, with a point snatch from Sunderland and 3 hard-fought points against the Baggies, this escape plan isn't just taking shape, it's on the move. So buckle up, because every match is another step towards freedom, people. This is more than football. This is going to be our great escape. So come on. So how are we doing, gents?
Oh, do you know that rousing speech has just put a big lump to my throat? You know,
I thought Miron Muslic was in the room then. I thought he turned into be a jammer.
Bit of a Churchill speech.
It was a Churchill speech, wasn't it? We shall fight them on the beaches.
There we go. Trying to compete with Miron, clearly. Yes, and look, for those that are joining us now, welcome. We also have Nick Tomlinson from PAFC Displays with us tonight as well. All those fantastic flags that you see, all the sort of kids and some of the other guys all waving pre-kickoff, etc. That's all delivered by Nick and his team. How you doing, Nick?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, no problem. Pleasure. It's always good to have, some other guests on, and if anybody wants to come in and join us, as a guest to give their views, drop me a DM and we can arrange that. So yeah, and Gavin, one job. Lino, referee wasn't great overall yesterday, was he? But no. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling very good. I actually, because I'll keep getting told off because I sit in the director's box about my language, Mike, as you know. So yesterday, at the top of my voice, I uttered the words poppycock to resemble some of the refereeing decisions, much to the mirth, actually, of everyone who sits around me, because normally it's 4 letters starting with an F. I thought we were a different article altogether with, obviously, 2 new recruits, and we looked very solid, and it was nice to hear Tony Mowbray say, really difficult to play against this side. All the things that we haven't heard since the good old dark days of Derek Adams. Home Park suddenly found its voice. The Devonport were competing with Zoo Corner on who can start the best chant. Everybody came back, and obviously Maxi was pumping his fist like a fist pumper. I was going to say something else, and I won't because I'll get in trouble. And lifted the spirits of everybody. But isn't it nice to be a Janner on a Sunday night with 3 points in the bag?
I think, yeah, absolutely. After a hard-fought and deserved point, Andy, it's just great to get back into those winning ways again, isn't it?
No, I just thought I saw those people walking out of Home Park yesterday. They had smiles on their faces. I thought, what's it all about? A game. Oh, we did win a game, didn't we? Hang on. Yeah, it was great to see that again. To see the smiles. When we chatted on the way back, then down the Bar Park, Mike, didn't we? And it's like, people sort of talking about the game with enthusiasm and lifted spirits and stuff. We can get out of this, great escape. Yeah, great.
It is just one game, Marcus, but I tell you what, a full week of training for Muslic, obviously Adin coming in as well. Hopefully I pronounced that right. And 2 new signings. You're starting to see Muslic style of play and how he wants to set the team up.
Well, it does make a difference from the previous home game where some fans walking out half
Yeah,
time,
and
doesn't it?
Was that a dig?
That-
Was that a personal dig?
I wouldn't even dream of doing something like that. Yeah, you look at that, Maxime, 1.7 million. What a bargain that's looking.
Yeah, absolutely. It's exciting, and Carl, sort of, it's off the back of some, our worst performances at home park in a long time. To come back, we all sort of said on our last pod that getting a result against West Brom, also under new management, it was going to be, massive for Argyle if we can get something from that, and to get 3 points is, with other results pretty much going our way, it was all good, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was a good day all in all, especially with the other results that kind of helped us as well. I just had a funny feeling that we would have won yesterday, and then all the other teams around us would have won as well, and we wouldn't have been any further kind of forward with that. But yeah, results went in our favour, which is a nice change. Decent performance. The two new defenders look like an absolute steal, especially Maxi, 1.7 million. I mean, obviously it's only his first game, but yeah, really, really positive. We looked hard to beat yesterday. We looked hard to break down, like Tony Mowbray said, like Gav said. No opposition manager said that for a long while. And I can see you've got some merchandise there, Mike.
Oh, I've started the ball rolling, but carry on, Carl.
He's like fucking Del Boy.
Where's the Grumpy Loyal one? That's what I want to know.
It's like watching Del Boy. I know you work for Chris Dawson, but you're not on this market store now, sunshine.
Yeah, definitely not.
Anyway,
let me jump. Let me jump onto our slide deck, and I've got it ahead of the game. So let me go back to the start. So, yeah, my fantastic and incredible Photoshop skills. If anybody wants anything done, then they come to me. No,
especially that adding one. That's perfectly placed.
Yeah, brilliant.
Well, to be fair, the music one is from one of his other places, and the pose I just thought was perfect from both of them. But if we've got a few guys in tonight as well, just before we start, and also from a Photoshop point of view, there is Wadders who I've just been following with Argyle stuff, and he does a lot of Photoshop videos as well. Just a bit of a shout out today. He said he'll try and watch tonight. We've got Sarah Mason Palmer, who dropped the message in earlier. Harold again from Mersland. Evening, Harold. And Leroy Cornish Sea Angler, who's posted up a message. Let's just show that. Sign Pooh Hatch up for Pooh Hatch.
Pooh Hatch, love it.
Absolutely. And Harold with another message in. This one will be massive confidence boost. I hope and pray. When was the last game we beat West Bromwich Albion? Can't remember. Someone will do, I'm sure. But yes, Katic and Maxi in. Adin arrives, and the first win in 88 days is the Great Escape on. So we'll kick off, as we usually do with these slides, with the lineup, and obviously Kara Fotmob with also player ratings on the left there, and also the subs down the right. Yeah, look, for me, the most notable thing was the fact of how well organised we were. And, that for me made a massive difference. Houghton coming in as well alongside Randall, I think just, again, shored everything up. Again, made sure we kept our shape. Offered a lot of quality and confidence. It was great to see him back, absolutely. And obviously, yes, the two new signings starting straight back in defence. Hardy dropped and Poulsen dropped. And as Miron said, absolutely furious.
Pissed off is what he said.
Pissed off. He was pissed off.
He said pissed off.
Be polite, guys.
No. Hey, if it's good enough for Miron, it's good enough for us.
Exactly.
Yeah, fair enough. They were pissed off. And obviously we know what happened at the end of the game when they came on. So look, I'm going to go straight to top to bottom. Andy, give your sort of thoughts on that lineup when you saw it, and generally the game overall.
Do you know, I've been a big critic of Houghton, right, recently. You probably know that. But I thought he was outstanding yesterday. Him and Randall in the midfield were so superb yesterday. Katic looked really good, solid in defence. Toleryov, what's it called? Toleryov?
Maxi for you.
Brilliant. Pleggy, fantastic. Pukash. When that cross for Hardy's goal was out of this world, it was just pinpoint and right to his feet, wasn't it? And Sorinola, what can you say about Sorinola? The boy is magnificent. He's come in, taken his place over Mumba. Sadly, dropped to the bench, but he really put in a good performance. Yeah, great performance, wonderful performance. I sort of said to you before, Mike, we were going to win 2-1. I just had it in my thought process. We're going to win 2-1, and the boys turned it on for us, didn't they?
Yeah. Yeah, no, they definitely did. And just from the comments there, Dave, evening, from the Evans boys who do their Argyle vlogs as well. It was a cracking day, absolutely. Scott there just put up, Maxi is class. The guy's already an Argyle legend. Is he deserving of a flag yet, Nick? But those I've got some video clips for those that are new to us or have rejoined us. We do have a couple of slides so we can talk about the lineups and the players and the ratings and everyone's thoughts. We'll cut to the goals, care of Sky Sports, highlights, and also the post-match interviews. And I do have the celebrations as well of Maxi. So all entertaining. But yeah, do we start preparing a flag for him, Nick?
Not quite yet. But if he carries on like that, I'm sure it wouldn't be too long. But yeah, we've got some other targets, so to speak, that we want to put some flags. We've done quite a few recently of current players, so to the sort of market and bring back a few. Yeah. So yeah, we are looking at it. We've got some irons in the fire at the moment. We've got Graham Carey's coming. Yeah. Hopefully, it was supposed to be delivered on Friday, but didn't get delivered in time, unfortunately, for the game on Saturday.
Nick, I don't know if it's just me, but I'm watching reactions. Is anybody else getting a bit of streaming issues? Yeah. I don't know what it is on that, Nick. But yeah, there's a bit of a feed issue going on, so we'll come back to you in a second, Nick. I don't know if you want it. You can try and come out and come back in and just see if that helps. But typical timing. We'll come back to Nick on that in a second. Marcus. Yeah, I mean, it is too early for a flag for clearly, but it's just that desire and passion and all the things you saw out there from Maxing. He also got man of the match, along as well as Pukac did on his debut. But that passion, desire, and fight, all of that was showing with Maxi yesterday, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it's the way he got the crowd going. But like the fist pump, excited, because we've lacked that from like the Joe Edwards and stuff like that. And Saranola's another one that gets the crowd going. Once the crowd is firing, the players stop playing better.
Yeah.
So the signs are very, very promising.
Yeah. No, go on.
But I mean the team looked as a unit looked a lot better.
Yeah, organised, wasn't it? That's the thing. There was that, you know, I get Pulse. I know a few people were just like, well, he didn't deserve to start this game. And I find there's a lot of emotions going on. We said it in the last pod, you know, and Paulson, though, has had some absolute blinders. Everybody was crap against Burnley. So, you know, that everybody, you know, sort of like, I think, reacted to that. And whereas Paulson, you know, for me, I think has done a superb job, Marcus, in that defensive line with Plaguey and Soranola. So he came on obviously as a sub, but he still did well in that spell. He came on as a sub.
Yeah, but also with Paulson, I know he's had a lot of criticism, but he was always before in the wrong position as a wing back. He isn't a wing back. He isn't quick enough. You put him in the middle, especially with Sukes being injured, Galloway doing his usual high heaters every season. So he had to step up, or he was in real trouble. And now we got Paulson looking where he should be all along.
Yeah.
So it's all that defense is looking pretty solid.
Yeah, absolutely. Nick, just to check, are we hearing you loud and clear now?
We can try again. Looking any better?
I can hear. Brilliant. Yeah, I can see your video feed is still slightly off, but yeah, look, let's come back to that. But like fight and that in the squad, you know, now we've got people in positions. Everybody's got to fight, haven't they, Nick, to earn their right? And Hardy and Paulson definitely should be right to be agreed. Probably more Paulson, in my opinion, than Hardy in recent performances. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. Since Paulson's moved into that central defensive position at the back in the back four, he's been much more improved. He clearly isn't a right wing back or in where he's been in that central defensive position. I don't think he's made many mistakes at all, to be fair. So feel of grief, but at the same time, he's also been part of a defeated 60-odd goals this season.
Yeah.
So you got to look at it two ways. A change was needed. We've brought we've brought two players in to sit in that position now, and I think that Saturday showed, why it was needed.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm just leaving that comment up from Barry Evans, Nick. When does Tomahawk get a flag? The halftime crossbar challenge. Fair play to him.
That was a good. I did the celebration. Much Ralph would have enjoyed it too much with the knee slide in front of the damn thing. Needed to go to the ground staff as the players do if they have the knee slide. But yeah, no, it was good. It was good fun. It was good laugh that.
It's it's always good bit of entertainment. So fair play to the bloke. If I was on the pitch doing that, I think you'd want to take every advantage of that. So yeah, Carl, sort of with a couple of others, in that squad, Houghton, I think, there was. Everybody played their bit yesterday, and there were some standouts, absolutely. But, Houghton, after being out for a lot of games, come back in and was just solid, wasn't he?
Yeah, and it really brought on Randall's game, I thought, as well yesterday. He's a lot better with Houghton next to him. Obviously, I've been critical of Randall's performances this season. I think many have, because he's been a shadow of himself with JB alongside him, because he's covering a lot of ground, doing what JB doesn't on the ball. So I kind of get that side of it. But the last few games he's had Houghton next to him, he's looked a lot more himself, and it just gives him kind of less time to do things, and he doesn't have to run around so much, because Houghton's kind of getting involved and holding up play, so he's not running around like a headless chicken when JB doesn't do that. So yeah, it's nice to see them both back together again. Obviously that probably won't last if we bring in another centre midfielder. Hopefully we'll bring in that Slovenian bloke tomorrow alongside Randall. I think that'll be a good partnership.
What's his name?
Say again?
What's his name? Sorry.
Sandy.
You are.
I knew you throw one in there.
Adrian something, isn't
I like all the abbreviated. They're simple, where you could say Maxine. That's easy. Cattins, because that is easy anyway.
But yeah, if we can get that height in the spine of the team, right from the back to the front, I think we're going to look a lot more stronger on the pitch. You could see that in the two defenders yesterday. I mean, looking at Fotmob, the defence, the tackles won, nearly 70%. Interceptions again were higher, blocks were higher, clearances as well. Everything just looks a lot more stronger with them two in the middle, and obviously at the back. And obviously Pleggy as well. He was a massive part of yesterday. Without a shadow of a doubt, he deserves his place in that back three. Even when Suture is fit, I think it'd be harsh to drop him. I think the back three, as it is yesterday, we persevere with that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Before I come to you, Gavin, guys, get your questions in. We've had a few people drop in the chat. So, anything that you want to say, I've just obviously shared a couple of messages on the whole signings point. One from Scott W. We'll come on to that. Got a section on that at the end. So, yeah, and a couple of others in there who are wondering who we might sign, Kim, as well, where we think we can add. I think the biggest thing for me overall, Gavin, yesterday, like I said, it was how organised we are. And when you think of when Music came in, it was 3 games back to back. It was pretty chaotic, with Oxford at home on the Tuesday, and obviously we got a point there, which was great. QPR wasn't great, and then Burnley was an absolute shambles. We go away to Sunderland, but then it's like, right, finally he's got a week, and as he said, I think in one of his press conferences before the game, he's had a chance now to try and organise the team around how he wants to play. And actually, to see the players, especially the 2 new signings, and that gel in so well with that and stay so organised, I think the only thing we did lack in the first half was that final third, wasn't it? We had a couple of chances of breakaway, no one was there. But It was certainly starting to show good signs.
I think if you look at the back three, I would say 8.5, 9 out of 10. I think the one mistake cost the goal. If you look at Houghton holding and doing a standing job again, just getting in the way and just doing all the dirty work that he did and Butcher did for us for a long time when we were in League One coming up. It hasn't changed. It just means that Randall has a comfy pair of slippers next to him that he knows inside out. I think, as you say, the frustrating thing was the final 3. I thought that Bundu did really well to put himself about in the 9 role, considering he hasn't done it for us, really. A couple of games, but normally played wide right. I thought he put himself about. He never seems to lose the ball, which is really good. Callum Wright was a bit hot and cold yesterday. I think he tried really hard. His press was brilliant. And of the two in the 10 channel, I thought he was the better of the two. Bader in the first half, he looked like I'm glad Muslic after the game said he had a cough and that his fitness wasn't there, because he looked like he was about a pace and a half behind the rest of the team in terms of his press. I think we have to be a bit patient with this guy, aren't we? Because he's clearly finding the league, the express pace of the league and probably the volume of games of the league hard. So he didn't have the best of games. I said to my brother at half-time, I would have probably put Hardy or Tajani up top and dropped Bundu back into a 10 role and took Bader off. He seemed to go with the like for like and bring Al Hajj on, who actually I thought did better. But again, the quality wasn't as it could have been. Too many little flicks to get in the way. And I don't think we really got ourselves creative until we brought on the man coming back from the flames like a phoenix. Mr. Obafemi, and to play Hardy outright. Well, I thought that was an outstanding decision. The channel balls that they could then put in really stretched a tiring defence. And Obafemi did what Obafemi did best, which is put himself about, make an absolute nuisance of himself. He had one really good chance, didn't he? Which keeper did really well with.
Like a Hardy, cutting it back to him. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, go again from another channel run. And actually, I think either Hardy or Tajani with him up top, either late in the game or from the start, seems to be for me the way forward. And 1 in the 10 was the way it seemed to work. All in all, as the game went on, I thought we got better in the final third. But I suppose it's easy to start from a solid base if you're going to look at it from a construction perspective. The foundations were so strong yesterday. Really good save again from Hazard, double save in the first half, which I don't think anyone's really mentioned that much. But the foundations were there. That back three was solid as a rock. And even when Paulson came on, solid as a rock. The midfield looked like they were far more combative. We still had a couple of times in the first half where we were cut open like a knife and they didn't exploit it as much. I still think we need a box-to-box, horrible so-and-so. And if we can get that man that Andy knows how to pronounce his name to a T, then that'd be fantastic. But I think the final third, we're getting better week on week. We're getting better as time goes on. It's still a feel. But one thing that did encourage me to sort of sign off is the amount of times we won the ball back high up the pitch on a press. Yeah. Which is what Muslic has said since he's come in, hasn't he? Bless him. We will win the ball high in the third and we will play attacking football. Everyone thought that was going to be lump ball. It wasn't lump ball. And Hazard's throw out for Hardy's second goal was an exact, I suppose, spitty, absolute pinpoint example of, get the ball up the pitch quickly, be direct, pass forward and score. So keeper to left wing back, curl ball over, good night. 3 players involved, goal. So if that's the way we're going to play, don't think anyone at home park or travelling away are going to be too upset, are they?
No, absolutely. And I think, considering, West Brom had the bulk of the possession, looking at the stats that, FOTMOB gave, and I'll show a summary of that in a second. We were just calm, like I said, organised, and didn't panic. And I think, looking at my notes, I think our best, there was 2 actually, probably good chances in the first half. One both actually fell to right, a cross in by Bundu, who did well at the touchline, swing it in, and then he headed it right straight at, I think it hit the defender. And then the one that isn't in the highlights reel from what I recall, but where he, I can't remember the attack in play, but he managed to breach the defence again and get the ball straight to him. But his first touch was just off. Down. Yeah, and it got caught in his feet. And I think he would have gone on to score or at least have a great shot at goal if he'd have just managed to have that first touch well. So I totally agree with you. The FOTMOB score rating, giving him a 6.4, would say the same. He was hot and cold, right, but I'd still like seeing him in the squad, which is good. Beidou, Carl, I know you were sort of a little bit vocal on X, I believe, on Beidou. I haven't seen the post, but my mate said, what's Carl doing having a go at Beidou now for? But he did more fouls. He did more fouls and he did touches, any decent touches. He is still trying to settle in, isn't he?
Well, I wasn't being critical. I was just putting it out there. Beidou discuss because he had let's be
Oh, was that
honest,
what it was?
a poor, quiet first half, and he hasn't really shown anything. That's facts. That's not going after a player. That's just discussing what we think of him so far as a new signing and what his best position is, which I still don't know myself. If he's a striker, is he a 10? Is he an 8? At the minute, I have no idea until he settles in this country into the league, gets himself fit, then we might see a bit more. But it's not being critical, it's just stating facts. He wasn't great yesterday.
It was the one disappointing factor, I think, for the first half.
And I think that would be...
He wasn't bad,
no,
but when everyone else was on their game, and I'm so glad that Meron said, he's had a cough and a cold, because he looked like he was like one of us running around when they're all superhuman.
Because that makes sense. Because, like you said, he wasn't pressing. He was kind of jogging around like Marcus Rashford in a way. He just wasn't pressing. He just didn't look like he had that extra bit of energy.
In fairness, that's unusual, because one thing he has done really well in earlier games, he's been very energetic.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Carl, do you think there's pressure on Muslich to play him, knowing that he's been such a big signing? I agree, Gavin was shaking their head, but I'm just putting that out there. But because it's almost like he got subbed at half time, and that's a kick in the bollocks.
Well, let's be honest, he was never a Muslich signing anyway, was he?
No,
he was
correct.
He was a Rooney signing, so there might be a little bit of that in it as well. But there's got to be a player in there. From what I've seen from his highlight reel at Elfsborg, he was impressive. So I'm sure there's more to come. We just maybe need to give him more time. Obviously, Maxi and Katish didn't need time. They came in and banged it straight away, but they've probably been playing a lot more games.
But also, I think it's much easier as an organised centre half to click in with two other bodies. You're defending, aren't you? Right? When you've got to, as well as I do over the years, if you think of the great strike partnerships, they take time to develop. Who's going to run where? What are they going to do? How are they going to lay off? Are they going to go 1-2? A defender, you've got a guy next to you. If the ball comes to you, head it away, you boot it away, you make a tackle. So it is, I think, easier to not trying to give Beidou too much benefit of the doubt, but it is much easier to get a partnership with someone in defence than it is up front.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. But I think it'll be good to see something come of him. But I think the nail on the head there is that, yes, he was more a Rooney sort of planned signing. As we know, we said it previously, sort of Jimmy Dickinson alluded to the fact that, it was all done and dusted, but we couldn't get him in until the January window opened up. So it is going to be a tough one. But there's, and whatever we sign, as we come on to that a little bit later, there's going to be pressure for positions, and you will get some signings right and some you won't, but hopefully Beidou does come good. And so, other than that, really, I think in the first half, what was telling is West Bromwich Albion's Andy's shooting wasn't the best, was it? I mean, they couldn't really get any clear-cut chances, but when they did have a crack, they were wide or high of the goal, weren't they?
Yeah, they had it. That's what reduced them to, sort of a couple of shots from outside the box and going nowhere, really. I thought we defended that up very well, and they did similarly in the second half. They had a shot early on in the second half, which way wide, and we coped with them very well. I think they breached us once, didn't they? Where they put the ball in the net, was for offside.
Offside, yeah.
And then obviously the goal. But other than that, I thought our defensive display was outstanding yesterday. We sort of limited them, really. They're a good side, no doubt about it. Good Mowbray side, but I thought we were just better than them, in most areas of the park.
Yeah, I think that was it Swift, that one that was just cutting through us, and you got also Johnson in there. Though they were sort of certainly having a go, and then Sorinola sort of defended that well and kept them out. But some quick feet and quick work by a couple of their players yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they're a good side. You can tell why they're up there. It was really interesting. 0-0. The longer the game remained 0-0, the sort of more I thought we're going to go and get something here, and then they couldn't score.
It was really interesting from one of their ex-fans saying yesterday, saying that they're a better footballing side, which I don't think anyone disagrees with. We wanted it more, and our effort and our determination was much better. And then he was having a pop at their players, saying if only they had the determination of us. But they're playing to go to the Premier League, and we're trying to stay in the division. So the motivation should be the same both sides, no?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the difference, and there's a lot of players there on decent money as well, isn't there? So So I think sort of the second half. We'll come on to those highlight reels in a second, but the second half, the immediate sub. Nick, I'll come to you with Al Haj coming on for Beidou, as we just said. I felt Haj was okay. He was better than Beidou, but I still didn't think he was massively impactful in the game. But yeah, how did you read that? And obviously the inevitable 2 subs are Hardy and Obafemi.
Yeah, so the first one you said about Al Haj coming on, I think in the post-match presser, Muslic touched on the fact that was always going to be a change that they were going to make. Because he said it was 50-50 on who was going to play and who was going to come on as an effector. I think he said. I think the term we used was rather than a finisher or something like that. It was the term he used. He didn't use the term sub. But yeah, I think when Al Haj came on, there was an impact. There wasn't the work rate was. The work rate was upped in the middle of the park there, and I thought he linked up quite well with Puhac as well. There was some lovely little bits of interplay in there that they were having on that left hand side. The later 2 subs, I think, for me they came on because we needed energy. The lads run themselves into the ground yesterday, and that's what Nuslic was all about. They've said in their interviews as well that even in training, it's hard work. It's a lot of running. They're getting fitter. They need to be able to run more, and they're leaving. They're emptying the tanks for us, and they really did that on Saturday. And the substitutions that he made, I would have probably made the same changes, to be honest. Yeah. And it wasn't through the fact that players weren't having a good game, because it was complete opposite. They were just emptying the tanks, and I think they had nothing left to give. So bringing those extra legs on and trying to stretch West Brom again with the second goal is a perfect example. We've stretched them, we've rolled the ball out quickly. It's a great ball in. I mean, the ball in is just superb. It's pinpoint. And we all know what Ryan Hardy can do when the ball's in behind. He latches onto it. He's admitted himself he got lucky with the rebound, but again, it's a great finish from Ryan Hardy. Does what Ryan Hardy does.
Yeah, we needed a bit of luck, a bit of rub of the green for once, and we got it with the penalty. Although that was still a pen, but we got it, and obviously, yeah, like you say, the rebound. But he managed to control it, and still get the shot off calm and composed. Whereas probably previously, Nick, when he's had that couple of shots, he's almost lashed at them, hasn't he? And
I think Ryan Hardy's clear. He said it himself. He's a confidence player, and we all know that Ryan Hardy's a confidence player. And if he's not in amongst the goals, then he struggles. But as soon as he gets a couple of goals underneath his belt, and his confidence just rises massively. You've only got to look at the goal scoring streak that he went on when we were in League One in that Championship season. I mean, I think he went 6 or 7 games where he was banging in goals for fun just after the Chelsea game. I think he scored a hat trick right after that game as well.
That's right. Yeah.
So I mean, we all know what a confident Ryan Hardy can do, and I think the last 2 games, because let's face it, the goal against Sunderland, if he doesn't make that action, the goal goes out for a goal kick or a corner. I can't remember what the action
corner
was.
would have been.
But I mean, he's made that goal. He's made it happen, and that'll only give him confidence. So 3 goals in the last 2 games against tough opposition. I think that's just going to give him lots of confidence to move forward, and hopefully we'll see some more goals from him.
Yeah, it's. I mean, speaking of the pass to him, it started, as we've seen the highlights, from a great throw out by Connor Hazard to Pukac, who didn't really need to take too many touches before seeing a pass to Hardy. And one of the things that Pukac can do so well is pitting great crosses into the box. And actually, the penalty one was another ball that was pit into the box quite fierce by Pukac, and in sort of one of those dangerous areas. And obviously, they didn't deal with it, and it came out to Hardy, who smashed it. Was it a penalty? I'm going to go quickly across all of you. So, Nick, was it a penalty? Yes or no?
Stonewall for me.
Yeah, Andy?
Yeah, it was harsh, but it was a penalty.
Yeah, Marcus?
It was a pen. Even Palmer would have been proud of that stop.
Carl?
I would say it's a pen. I mean, there's no reason to put your arm out. Yes, it was close, but yeah, it's a pen for me.
Yeah, and Gavin's nodding as well. So just to confirm,
don't dangle your bat and expect not to get an edge. To use a cricketing analogy, tuck it under your arm. So yeah, all day.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll tell you what we'll do is we'll come on to the Sky Sports highlights so we can talk through the goals as well as we come into this. So we'll just let it. I'll pause it at frames, but yeah.
Again, in behind right.
So the early start for West Brom.
He'll fancy this on his left foot. Mowat. More than capable from that kind of distance.
And that was typical of their shooting yesterday.
He should have done better.
It's opened up again here for the shot.
There he is. Awkward bounce, that one. A bit edgy when we saw that live.
It was a big deflection actually from Randall. That's what give it the top spin.
Let's have a look.
Yeah, very slight, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, cool. Caused it to dip viciously. Yeah.
It did, yeah.
Well, Soranola's been fouled by right.
That's a great ball by right there.
Straight into the second half. Yeah.
I mean, that's lots of intelligence, isn't it? You can play a little ball like that.
Go on, Andy.
So through the legs, you can play the ball there. You can play a little ball like that right through the Soranola. Is it through the legs? Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Said, Soranola's a couple of
Watching it live, I've just muted the audio on it, but watching it live, it looked like Soranola hesitated for a split second. And that was the difference between him probably getting the ball over Palmer than not. I think on his injury to his head, there was if I just go back ever so slightly and pause it, I said it looks like a bottle cap or something random. There you go. You see it bounce up any second now. So he landed on something.
Gum.
Sorry,
it's chewing gum.
He lost his chewing gum.
Could well have been his chewing gum, but he was all right obviously after that.
Move now. It's a deep ball. It's Mason Holgate who gets
This is
on
the
to it.
save.
Has to make the stop
2
right
saves.
on his line. Great reaction from the Bristol goalkeeper to keep West Bromwich Albion out.
That's what he's good at.
He doesn't see this.
He's a shot stopper.
No,
on the reverse angle.
Yeah, the sticking out the head. Sticking out the arm. Instinctive reaction saves, and just to then get the rebound as well and smother it. That was a game-saving save again by him. Leaning back, he was leaning over.
If only he had Tomahawk's football boots on.
Well, he still would have scored.
He hit the crossbar.
Closer.
So this is
unlucky.
the build-up. So it's Katic that actually mispasses the ball, which leads to the goal.
Yeah. Mike, if you look at Katic's play there, he comes off just after that. He was cramping up about 2 minutes before that. I think he just had heavy legs. I think the pace of the game just did him. Because it's a much quicker game in it than we've done.
You can see it there. Look, just heavy touch. I mean, they did well with the finish, to be fair, just to stick a foot out and get it in.
If you're going to be hypercritical of the management, if you've got the stats from the analyst team saying Katic is tired, get him off, and he doesn't come off on that period, then that's where it was, and they do get that data down. But I think it's hypercritical, to be honest. I think he was outstanding up to that point.
Yeah. So
he was, absolutely.
And then there he is. There's the ball in I was saying about. Look, and you can see his arms out there. Yeah, it comes to him at some force, but he still turned his back and off his shoulder and onto his arm.
Don't leave your arm out there and expect him to get away with it.
I have to say before he takes the penalty, the referee you're the one with one job liner that you shout from that box up there in the Mayflower, but the ref was awful, wasn't he?
Disgraceful. Yeah, he was very poor. So many, and both sides as well. So many wrong decisions. I don't know what he was watching half the time, if I'll be honest.
Yeah, he almost sort of just slowed the game down because not saying it biasly to our goal, but it just felt like he was giving every little foul, and there was some good, strong, proper decent tackles going in, and he was just blowing up for every single one.
Bader was unlucky 4 or 5 times, I thought, in the first half, where he was just niggling away. The guy falls over, and
he's just got booked at least.
Exactly. Right, let's see the penalty. Really well taken penalty against ex-Argyle Palmer.
Did you hear the
Say again?
The chat pre-penalty where he was going, I've taken so many I've saved so many penalties against you in training, Ryan. I know where you're going with this. You're screwed, mate, giving it the big one. I thought that was brilliant.
Always good fun. Always good banter for penalties. And then, so let me just step this back. I know they're going to show a replay, but just watch the throw out by Hazard here. Quick distribution, exactly the type of style that.
I tell you what was really interesting about the second goal, right? Is Puats is so tired, he goes, "No, I don't want it." And Hazard goes, "You're having it, Bruce."
And to be fair, he didn't even touch it. It was his first touch of the ball from Hazard that he picked the ball in.
Yeah.
So calm on that finish.
Talking earlier though about that direct football, that's not Wimbledon 1994 lump it up to Fashionham, is it? That's get the ball up the pitch as quickly as possible into attacking position to try and score a goal, and that's perfect for me. I don't know how other and there, you know, a few of the Twitterati were going, "Oh, we're going to play lump ball and this, that, and the other," and blah blah blah. That's a really good piece of football there, isn't it? You're not messing
what was good about it, Gav, right? And I don't think anyone's picked up on it. That was pinpoint. It was pinpoint. If you, I don't know if you can wind it back again, Mike, but that ball was played at speed and pinpoint to Harvey's foot.
Well, actually, both passes, Andy. So the throw was
from Hazard,
and I was right on top of that. The throw was right in front of him, and it literally 1-2 touches and he scored.
If that was played through by
Hardy's
Trent,
tiptoed forward here, and the flag has stayed down.
And he was onside too.
It's Hardy. The door slam shut.
Tony Mowbray was trying it might have been offside. Certainly, Obafemi was offside, and he might have interfered with play. Get a grip of yourself, Mowbray.
Poor defending there, wasn't it?
I heard that comment what Mowbray said as well, and I've looked at the replays again, and even seeing it there again. The ball doesn't just come over Obafemi's head; it comes over most of West Brom's team.
Yeah.
So
he wasn't interfering with play.
He's not interfering with play.
Obafemi can be interfering with play. He's only 4'3" on tippy toes anyway.
I'm going to play the rest of this because the commentary I put on our countdown at the start because it is just fantastic. So this is one of those.
Now this place feels like home park again. Rowdy, raucous, thunderous, with a big name running for cover, and another big goal from Ryan Hardy.
Okay, wow.
Jameson, Ginger and Love.
That makes me hair on the back of my neck stand up.
You'd one of them, though.
That's
Rowdy, raucous, and thunderous, and that's just Andy Laidlaw when he's grumpy.
Raucous, wear it to the floor, Centurion.
It was just to see the ground go nuts again.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because, I mean, Nick, from displays, you must be some weeks thinking, why am I putting these fucking flags out? Because everyone's miserable as sin.
We do have
it's
that
so
occasionally.
nice, isn't it, to just see everybody on their feet going nuts.
So for us, the performances of the team does obviously impact on what sort of reception we get and with things that we do in the buy-in that we get. If the squad are doing well and the team's doing well and we decide we're going to do something, we get a lot of buy-in, we get a lot of people coming in out help, we get a lot of donations in. But as soon as the team start to dip a bit, it becomes a lot harder. And just like you say, having that reaction at the end of the game and that buzz at full time and things like that, it helps us because we right away we're on that initiative, like we'll touch on it later about Liverpool and things like that. It gets people.
I mean, it was a perfect link.
There you go.
Hey, I should be a radio disc jockey, I'm telling you.
So obviously we're looking to do something with a display for the Liverpool game. I know some people are like, well, it's not a big game for us. It's not, there's other games that are more important. There are, but this for us is a game for us to enjoy. Yeah. So for us, we want to do something special for it. We want to get out there. We want to enjoy the game. Remember the game and do something special. So we decided we're going to do a display. We're going to do a display in the Devonport end and the Lyndhurst and along the front of the Lyndhurst. We're meeting up at the ground tomorrow night from 6:00 to sort all the plastic sheets that we've got. So we've used these plastic sheets time and time again. It's not something that it's not single-use plastic that we'll throw away. We recycle them and use them again and again. It is cost-effective for us. That's the thing. So if we were to do it in paper, for example, it's nearly like $7,000 to do what we can do in plastic sheets, which costs us about 500, 600 quid. Yeah. So. And we can use that 500, 600 quid in plastic sheets to do again and again and again. So for us, it makes complete sense to do it that way. But the only thing is we need to recycle them. We need to sort them. We need to count them. We need to throw any damaged ones away that are damaged. And we need to find out how many we got before we can actually do what we do. So yeah, we're looking at getting up the ground 6 o'clock tomorrow night, just to sort them, count them, and hopefully we can try and get as many as we can in the stands for the display.
How many people do you need ideally, Nick?
I think we've done it before where we've managed to sort them all with about in the space of about an hour with about 10 people. But we want to stick them in the stands as well. So if we can get 15, 20 people up there to sort them straight away as soon as it's sorted.
Out of 17,000 Green Army, if there aren't 20 people that can give up an hour on Monday night,
it would be awesome. It really would be, because it gives me and the other team, a couple of the team members, a chance to sort out a storeroom that we've got as well to get the flags out that we need, that we want to put into the Lindast. So you see the flags that the community trust guys do along the Lindast, which the kids used to do along the front. Yeah. We're going to put all the flags that we have made of those, and there's about 300 to 400 of them in the Lindast. So we'll have from about block 13 to block 7-ish, 300 or 400 of those, and then we'll have our big player waivers all along the front as well. So it should look really, really good.
And Nick, remember to leave the flags by your seats. Don't take them home with you.
Yeah. That's one of our biggest things. We've lost quite a few over the years. I mean, it may not look like much, but when we can't really afford to keep replacing them, it's a pain in the ass. They're bought by fans for fans. Yeah, leave in the ground and to use again and again, not to take home. Because
as a souvenir.
Exactly. In all fairness, I don't know what you're going to do with it anyway. The flag's 1.5 meters wide by 1.5 meters wide. On a flagpole that's 2 meters long. I just don't know what you're going to do with it anyway. So
do you tend to see more of them disappear after a great result, because people are happy, sort of like just get a bit overzealous and think, I'm just going to take that with me.
So we lost about between 15 and 30. I can't remember the exact figure it was now, but it was between 15 and 30 that we lost after the whole City game last year.
Yeah. I remember you putting the tweet out saying those people that may have just got a little bit silly, can you bring them back, please?
Well, I actually was sat at the back of the Devonport end, and I actually watched one fellow come down the front with his son, pick one up, took it off the flagpole, chuck the flagpole down the side, give the flag to his son put up his jumper. So they knew exactly what they were doing. So we do get some people that are like that, and we'll choose to do that. And I've got images of them as well, which were shared, but nothing came back, unfortunately. I mean, we lost about 15. I had one person who got hold of me via email and said, look, really sorry. We saw people picking them up. We thought they were to take home. I'll bring it back to you on Monday. And that's exactly what he did.
Can you not have an amnesty between now and Thursday for those people that might have one at home and say, look, no grudge to bear, just bring it back. We want to get it out there for the Liverpool game.
We've done that plenty of times. We've put out tweets all the time. If you've got one and there's no judging, no questions asked. Bring it back to the club. If you want to take it up to the club and say it's PFC displays and you've got it and you want to bring it back, no one's going to judge. No one's going to say anything. I mean, people can do that anytime they want, and they'll leave it in the club, and somebody at the club will let me know that it's there. And then we'll pick it up and deal with it next time. But
I think it's brilliant. What you do is brilliant, and to see those flags out there, from different nationalities as well. You see Muslic one, and when you see Frio one, it's good to see.
We did have. I don't know if any of you remember back in the early 2000s or the mid 2000s, we had a flag. It wasn't ours. It was a flag that was done by other fans, which was the United Colours of Argyle.
Remember
so. We decided in October that we'd make one for the squad this season. We had it made in October. It was done. But because of the weather, we were never able to use it. It's now quite severely out of date and we can't use it. So
I guess it would stretch the whole of the Linders now, wouldn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. We're just not sure what to do with it now. So that's the only problem with having lots of nationalities coming in the busy transfer window. It's and leaving as well. It's that flag rapidly comes out of date very quickly. Yeah. So we might have to rethink about how we go about that.
That's great, mate. Well done.
No, absolutely. Credit to everybody that supports you in doing that as well. So if you've got a flag, you can just return it. Do it now. So, so look, there we go. We said to Nick we'd do a shout on that, and thanks to Gavin sort of retweeting that, and then said, I'll tell you what, I'll drop Nick a note. Always try and say hello when leaving the ground because he tends to start collecting them all from our block. It's a pleasure having you on, and good to get different views from people as well, and also learn some new things from what goes on in and around the ground. So, shooting over to, well, actually saying that, we mentioned everybody apart from, I suppose, JB, too much in there. I don't think there was too much for him to do when he came on with sort of like 10 minutes ago with the added on time. But all round, really happy with the overall performance. There's the match stats coming on here. So from FOTMob, so you can see there the overall ball possession, immense really for West Brom, and not too dissimilar, or pretty much very similar to the Sunderland game. So obviously away from home, but yeah. So overall good. 11 shots to them, 4 on target, which was probably that double save by Hazard to them.
It is nice to see the XG above 1 now.
Again.
Yeah.
But the XG statos out there.
Well, above half would be nice.
Yeah,
But,
but
for a while. Yeah.
The other thing about the percentage as well, I'm pretty sure I heard someone talking about Newsnitch when they came in, and they said that possession percentage wasn't going to be high. They said you will have less of the ball, but you'll have more of the ball higher up in the pitch, and that's exactly what we're seeing already. So
yeah, I think under Shuey, under Lowe, and under Rooney, and especially under Foster. You go, look, we had 65% possession today, and 99% of our passes were the back three going side to side to side to side to keep it to side. Yeah. And you're like, oh, you know, I'll have touches in their final third than sitting watching that all day.
What do we absolutely look? What do we think to even in Pilgrim PT as well? What do you think to the sort of situation for Hardy then? That the view of maybe he could be that super sub coming on. I mean.
Can I button on this one? I think where he came on the right side, I think with Whittaker gone now, I think he can make that position his own. I think he looked really dangerous on the right side, especially running down through the channels. I think that could be the perfect position for him. And then having TJ in the middle once he's fully fit, I think that'd be a good way to go.
You got to play 3-5-2 then, though, haven't you?
Yeah.
Cool. So
no, like TJ up front with then whoever like Al Haj. And then
you'd play him in one of the 10 slots.
Yeah, possibly, because then he can pull out a ride as well, can't he?
Yeah, he's got that pace, so for a tired defence that works. And I think we may see a few sort of changes here and there, even if there's still some new signings that come in that forward position. But it's one of those where he will want to start and and not be sort of classed as that super sub. But we shall see. We shall see. We've got a Wednesday, Lolo de Wednesday evening off YouTube. Is Sissoko any good? Well, yeah, it's spelled with a C. But who wants to go for that? Marcus?
Yeah, go on, Marcus.
He's good in the right system, inconsistent, but if you play his way, he's a bit greedy. But on his day, he's either brilliant one day, the next game's terrible.
I would also say don't wind him up.
Don't wind him up because he likes attacking players. He likes getting red, and then he don't like tracking back.
I think he needs to land across the ball earlier as well. Far too many times at home park where you've seen him get down the wing, beat a man, and then decide he's going to try and beat him again, and beat him again, and just get down the line and whip it in. And that if he can learn to do that, he'd be very dangerous.
Well, I think Rooney managed him really well for those couple of games where he was excellent, where he said, beat the man, cross the ball. Don't beat the man, beat another man, beat the man again, cross the ball. I think if Soccer AM was still going, he would be trying to be in the showboat every week, wouldn't he?
But he was good to watch. We can't deny that. In the games where he scored and stuff, he was excellent.
He's a great character as well. He's very positive. He's got a bit of pizzazz about him, hasn't he? So I think for Wednesday he'll do really well. They play a good level of football. They play with wide men. I think he'll be a great signing for them, and you'll probably get the best out of him.
Yeah. No, and a couple of goals. Was it Luton he scored a couple of goals against?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Top quality. But then you've seen the other side of him where it's like petulance and he's getting into the challenge and he's getting up and getting booked, getting sent off.
To be candid, it's a big club Wednesday. He ain't going to be able to come in there. I think he thought he was a big fish in a small pond with us. That ain't happening at Sheffield Wednesday. Let's be candid, is it? With Windass and the quality they've got in that squad. I think he'll do well, but he needs to buckle down. He needs to start working harder, and he needs to take instruction from his coaches.
Yeah, and just one from Eddie. Music is playing the players in their natural positions and style. No more 10s as wingers or centre backs as right backs. So, evening, Eddie. Thank you, everybody else as well who's coming in to watch. I'm trying to remember now what the next slide is. There's not many. Okay, we'll come on to that in a second because men of the match, man of the match, awards yesterday. So we had the club gave it to Maxi, Sky gave it to Hardy. And for me, and I think a few of us don't disagree, Pukac for me was an absolute standout yesterday. Marcus, I'll go back to you first on this one. Who was your standout man for the game?
I'm actually going for Sarnola.
Fair play.
Because everything he did was brilliant. His defending was brilliant. His tackling was brilliant. Everything. So even though there's a few good players, everyone's got a different opinion who's man of the match. But I'm going for Sarnola. So I think he's took his chance since he was out of the wilderness for quite a while. He's took his chance. He's looked good.
Yeah, no, you just can't not like the lad, can you? And for that just effort, and he is showing something now for our.
I think he for me is the first name on the team sheet at the moment because his work rate second to none. He just reminds me of another Joe Edwards. Really, his passion and his definitely.
Yeah, and it's not.
He's a Joe Edwards with a bit of pace, and he can. Sorry,
no, go on, Gavin.
I said he's a Joe Edwards with a bit of pace, right, and he can cross the ball. Sorry, Joe. But Joe's leadership is obviously exemplary. But I think Joe would not be too upset saying, "Well, next season, he can have the shirt, and I'll be the supporting function." I think the rest of this year he'll be saying, "I want the shirt." But
absolutely. So, Carl, your man of the match?
I'm going to give it to Talavirov. I'm not going to go with easy option Maxi, but that's I want to get that pronunciation in there in case Andy butted in and said something different. So definitely him for me.
What impressed, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Andy, your man of the match.
I'm going to go for Pukac, mate. I just thought he was outstanding yesterday. I mean, that ball for Hardy's second goal, just, as I say, was pinpoint. He put a lot of good challenges in. He's composed on the ball. I mean, saying that Talaveros was good as well. He was really good as well. Well, like his little celebrations.
Yeah, brilliant.
Right, Nick,
great
yours?
Yeah, I think I'd probably agree. Talaverov was probably the best player on the pitch for me yesterday, and it was very closely followed by Pukac as well. So yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah, and then Gavin, who are you going with for yours?
Talavirov, but only I think there were three standout players, and I think we've all chosen them: Saranola, Pukac, and Talavirov. But because it was his first game with a brand new team and a brand new league, you can't fault that, can you? He's been dropped in like SAS down, took his parachute off straight into action, bullets flying over his head, and he's had an absolute worldie. So that and the interview afterwards, I thought, I know I sent it to you, Mike, some of it. I thought he was superb in hospitality, just talking to the fan base, saying that he's never had a welcome anywhere like it. Him and his girlfriend were over, stopped several times. He was overwhelmed by the reception that he'd been given from the Janners, which is wonderful to hear. Actually, that we're a good city, and he said, I think he said, I feel at home already. I've been here 2 days. Can't get better than that.
Yeah, no, excellent. And I think what's great, as I said at the start, you had Pukac, who got Man of the Match award in his first game against Oxford, and yet again, another new signing, and sort of Katic, did well equally, and then came off with that little niggle. I tell you what was quite funny early on is. We sort of had there was either a cross or a corner for West Brom very early on, and we had the tallest man on the pitch, which Katic I think might well be, and then the smallest man header the ball clear from that cross, and it was just, I just was sat there watching it, going, "Oh, that's just hilarious." But
the one thing I will say, sorry, is like Saranola getting blocks in, Pukac getting blocks in to stop the winger crossing. Every time over the last few weeks that's happened, I've gone, oh no, corner. Oh no. This time, Saturday, I was like, corner, bring it on. Look at these giants we have in there. They're not beating us in the air. It was so nice to feel that you get the block in, you give away the corner and you relax rather than go, oh, here we are.
Yeah, you ain't got Ronnie Corbett at the back, have you? You got Ronnie Barker.
Frankie Vittori, yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant. Excellent, Andy. Oh, dear. Right, just a couple more comments. Let's have a look. The back LR 1507. The back five was spot on yesterday. I mean, that was the thing, isn't it? Sort of showing as a 3, then a 4, then a 5 in there. But yeah, would love to sign Nemanja Matic type sit with Randall in front of them. And then we've got, although that wasn't right, his first name. Pukac work rates were exemplary, but Talivirov, if I've got that right, was so key to having confidence at the back. Clean tackles a great buy, and that passion and energy that we also alluded to. So, yeah, no, it's just when you're sort of there, and to be fair, like Houghton coming back in, like we said, was absolutely superb. There's several players you can pick out, and it's great to be back in that position to do that. Obviously, we're coming up to the next round of big games in the month of February. Obviously, Liverpool next in the FA Cup, live on Sky on Sunday. What do you think he's going to do with the lineup there, and how do you think he's going to play it? Andy, I'll come to you first for that one.
Well, got to put a strong side, haven't we? I say keep what we've got at present, and let them go, let them play it, because they've just won us a game there. They've played really hard, and it's on ITV, by the way.
ITV, yeah.
Yeah, why change it? Why change something which is good? I thought the starting 11 yesterday was superb. We won it with substitutes, of course, but yeah, why not? Why change it? We don't need to change it.
Yeah. Do you think though, Marcus, there's a risk because there's this balance, isn't there, of a massive FA Cup tie and Liverpool who are in absolutely incredible form, and then the great escape we're trying to pull off to survive. So, not a deep squad still, so it's a tricky one, I think, because there's risk, isn't there?
Well, what do you prefer? The league with 16 games to go, or probably playing the best team in the world? So you got to be thinking of your Millwalls and stuff like that in your next league game. So I would rest 3 or 4 players.
Yeah, I think it's certainly an interesting one because the game against Millwall comes up on the Wednesday, so it's fairly close, and then we're away on the Saturday then to Blackburn, so it's quite a busy schedule. So, Carl, what are you thinking of in going for?
I kind of agree with Andy. I don't really want to change it too much because I think if we set out like we did yesterday against West Brom with that lineup, I'm sure we can give them a game because they won't go fully strength, would they? I know it was a mixture when they played Accrington Stanley. They might throw in a couple more because obviously the standard of opposition they're playing against, but there's no reason why we can't give it a good game. I don't really want to rest too many players. It might be good for their confidence and to get the relationship better between the back three. And again, same with Baidu. If we can start Baidu again and just see if he can get his mojo back, and yeah, I don't think we can change it too much if I'm really honest.
No, fair enough. Just from No Pira, No Party, who put the ball in Cardiff's net? Was that Kundal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yesterday for Millwall. Yeah.
Yeah.
20. Yeah, Millwall. He scored on 25 minutes, I think, at the back post.
Yeah, I thought I did see that on the Sky ticker. So
£1 million. That was a good buy, actually.
Well, yeah. So Accidental Pilgrim is saying we should save key players for the league. So sort of, Gavin, obviously we're expecting a couple more, hopefully, signings to maybe land. But I'm a bit on the fence really between Carl and Andy and Marcus because the league is so important and we don't have the depth of squad and we just cannot afford to pick up any more injuries. I've
already done my squad because I always do. Me and my brother talk most weeks. I would stick with Hazard in goal because why wouldn't you? I'd play a back three with the same as Saturday. I think they need another game to gel, to be honest. And also, I love Victor Poulsen. I love his organisation. I love his talking, but the pace of Liverpool, even if it's Jayden Danns that they stick up front to start, the pace is just electric up there, isn't it? And if it's Mo Salah, then, a foot race between Poulsen, even I think he's the most confident man in Christendom. He would say, yeah, I'm getting out sprinted. So I think back three need to gel. I would actually be a bit controversial and bring Ballymumba into the right side of the back of the midfield and say, show me, Matt, have a rest. Show me that you're capable against the Liverpool side. I think he's more suited to playing against Premier League players probably than Maxi Ronaldo. Keep Pusac on the left. If there's a midfielder in this week, I would probably give Jordan Houghton a rest as well. and play new player and Randall. I think Randall deserves to stay there. And my top three would be Hardy at 9, and then Bundu and Wright to keep that continuity. Because I think we just need more energy at the top. And as I said earlier, I don't think Bader or Al Hajj are. There's going to be lots of quality in the Premier League that will be saying, well, these guys are below what I normally play with. So I think a bit more directness up top would be more suited.
I think getting TJ in might be a good idea to get him some minutes as well. A bit
well, Hardy or TJ up top, and you probably start with TJ actually if you're going to do that, and then bring Hardy on when people are tiring.
We don't know what team Liverpool are going to put out, what sort of team they're going to put out. They could put the youngsters out, and they're still going to be, high quality players, aren't they? So we're just going to give it our best shot, and it's a free hit. Everyone's going to say it's a free hit. Yes, it is a free hit. I'd rather concentrate on the Millwall game on the Wednesday night after.
Whoever starts, it's such a matter. And like all the players, and Nick, I'll come to you next as well for your thoughts. But all the players are going to want to go start in that game.
Of course they are.
Yeah, absolutely, it makes sense. I agree with keep the momentum, the continuity as Monster Green. If I just bring the one from No Pira No Party, obviously at least we don't hold the highest defeat in the league, so that's good. Thanks.
That could have been 10.
Yeah, continuity and momentum is just as important as rest. But Nick, there's a lot of. Hang on, let me just move those comments out the way. These are back-to-back games, sort of Sunday, then Wednesday, then Saturday, then Wednesday, then Saturday again, so it's going to stretch Argyle's squad again. Where is your head at for this one?
For Liverpool, I think, quite similar to yourself. I would go somewhere in between. I would make changes, but changes that I'd make in-game, I'd make earlier. So purely to give players that are on the pitch, who are starting the pitch, a longer rest when they come off to get back into this game against Millwall, and B, to give, like you say, it's a free hit. Every player's going to want to play in it. To give these players on the bench the opportunity to, have a decent run out against a Premier League side. So for me, I would, it would be a mixture of the both. I'd make maybe 2 or 3 changes, and then bring the subs on earlier in the game. So around maybe 55, 60 minutes or something like that to actually give those lads a decent run out against what's going to be a very, very good Liverpool side, no matter who they play. So that would be
the interesting thing as well, just coming to my mind now, is they interviewed Cornel Such in Hospitality yesterday, and he said he'd be back ready for selection on Saturday against Liverpool.
Sunday.
Do you give him 20 minutes to get, because again, there's another classy, big, tall European centre half who could be breathing down Pleggy's neck to get the other spot. Do you give him 20-25 minutes knowing how you've got?
I tell
you what, guys, isn't it nice to have this conversation rather than going, it's either a 15-year-old kid or it's someone who's limping around because they've been kicked 17 times in the last game. It's nice to have a bit of depth.
It's absolutely. And to be fair and not deliberate, but forget that Zooks has been out, with the 2 new signers coming in doing so well. It's, the timing of getting his injury is awful for a player when, you got 2 new players that come in. So I think you do, because the more minutes that people can get in that game, win, lose or draw, it's not going to define our league. Well, it could do if we go into extra time and a replay. It's great for the money, but it's you're going to need those players fresh.
Are there replays in this round?
It's a replay.
Is there replays in this round, or is it straight? Is it? I think it's the 5th round, isn't it? Where the replays start?
I think it's the 5th round, yeah.
And VAR starts in the 5th round as well, because that's when all the Premier Leagues are expecting to be there. Not that the FA Cup's biased towards the Premier League at all.
Marcus, go on.
That's probably a whole podcast on its own.
I don't think there is replays, but myself, I think he's overplayed. I would rest Randall.
He'd probably be pissy at you saying that, mate.
I just if we don't get another midfield signing, I wouldn't want to go for the next 16 games with Houghton and JB.
Yeah. That's a tough conversation a manager will have to have with Adam Randall, who's been at his club as a kid all his life, got an opportunity to play against the best teams. He is, I agree. But I mean, having a kid that's been at the club all his life, having the opportunity to play against the best team in the world, and then to turn around to him and say,
sorry, mate.
I'm going to drop you for this one. That's a really tough.
I think if I was Adam Randall, I'd swing for him and try and knock his beard off.
That is a tough call.
Well, training's going to be interesting, isn't it, this week? So
everyone's going to step up, aren't they? But what we didn't touch on, during this whole live, is that the bench we had yesterday was a hell of a strong bench. When do we have a strong bench?
Yeah, very.
That's
very.
that's what Gavin's saying, isn't it? It's like suddenly having those conversations.
And still Cornell Suits to come in either on the bench. That's 10 over 9.
Yeah.
Who do you leave out from the bench yesterday? It was very, Ballymumma didn't get a single second in the game.
And you get
and he's obviously not going.
Still.
Yeah, he's not going to anybody or Leeds, especially as I left that comment up here now. But obviously Leeds have Millwall at home, so that could be massive, for us as well. Against them on the Wednesday. So
just get some lumps out of them, please, Pero.
Yeah, another 7-0, another
That'd be
7-0.
They're in the mood as well, Leeds. Let them score as many as they want.
Yeah. Pilgrim Pete, you can't see Liverpool playing their real big guns for obvious reasons. I think we'll all agree with that. We have a semi-final Thursday night and then the derby Wednesday night. Hopefully Argyle can sign 3 players tomorrow. We shall see what happens. We'll touch upon that in a minute before we sign off. So I'm looking forward to it. Harold is saying, honest opinions, will we stay up? Yes. Don't anyone say no.
100%.
Right? This is the great escape.
If we were talking this last weekend,
we don't want that sort of negative.
If we were talking last weekend, percentage-wise, I think this panel would have said 40, 35%. I think this week it's going to be 80 plus, isn't it? It's belief.
4 points from the last 2 games. You can't knock that, can you? He's instilled that confidence into him, and he hasn't changed the players as such. He's changed their mindset, which he's set out to do.
It's the Bosnian Ted Lasso, boys. Believe.
I think the confidence from the last 2 games going into what you can see on screen there. So looking at after the Blackburn game, we've got Luton, Cardiff, and then what you can't see on the screen is after that, and then the following game's Hull.
Yeah.
So we've got 3 teams that are around us there, back to back.
Mm-hmm.
You put 2 wins together against those as well, and we are right back in it. So confidence must be flying high at the moment. I mean, it's a great time to get into that little run. So yeah, for me, I think we've got every chance.
If we can get 9 points from the remainder of this month, I think the teams around us are in such poor confidence. Portsmouth, poor confidence, got battered, didn't they, against our opponents on Saturday. Cardiff got smashed by 7. Derby couldn't win a game if they bought all the tickets in a raffle. They're dreadful. So there are teams around us at Hull. Who got beat by Stoke, of all people, at home. And I watched the highlights of that. They were pretty poor. So it's nice to have them all on the dip and us on the up.
That's a great thing with the swings. I mean, Carl, there's some decent points to be had in these next run of games.
Some really important weeks coming up. But we had a really important week a few weeks ago, and we didn't really pick up the points needed, did we? We snuffed it. But we always seem to raise the game against the better sides, don't we? So knowing us, we'll probably, kind of draw against Millwall, beat Black. One.
Well, there's one C word here, and it's not the one you're thinking of, Mike. That we just need to have here, and that's consistency.
Yeah.
Because we have turned it on against big sides, Brentford away, and then we go and get stuffed 5-0 at home to Burnley. All but 10 days later. This Muslich side with the new coaching team. And it was quite interesting to see his conversation earlier on his little interview, saying it was really nice to have a coaching session in the week with Odin that was like we've done hundreds of times before, where we just, it's about in possession, out of possession, blah, blah, blah. And it was like, we've done this sometimes before, and the team are there. Consistency will only breed, I think, from that training ground repetition.
And that will only get better the more weeks.
Wins as well, haven't you? You desperately need a couple of back-to-back wins,
Yeah,
Carl, you can finish in a minute. I mean, we'll just.
Sorry, Carl.
Can I just add? I mean, can you imagine then what the car is like with Gavin and I in it?
Oh, yeah.
Very smart.
Mike, shut up and let Carl say his.
Yes, so Carl, what would you like to finish off?
Yeah, as I was saying, I think it would be typical Argyle to kind of struggle against Millwall. We've always struggled against Millwall anyway, but our record against Millwall is crap. And go away to beat Blackburn, beat Luton, and then we'll struggle against Cardiff. That just seems the Argyle way these days. But no, there's some really big games coming up. And if we can do as we did against West Brom yesterday, the more training sessions Music has with the boys will only benefit us. hopefully more additions tomorrow, and we should be in a strong place. Just need a couple more results to start believing.
Carl, the one thing I would say though is we're more Millwall than we've ever been, right?
True.
We're playing more like Millwall of old than any time in our history. So if you're going to play Millwall now, let's go and out Millwall.
It's probably a good time to beat the Hoodoo, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of post-matches, the one thing I didn't play, which I'll do now, is the post-match interviews, a little free clips at Argyle Pit Out. So just run them for us.
I saw you at the end just standing and looking at the Devonport end during the celebrations. What was going through your mind just at that very moment?
Surreal. Far away somehow in my head, in my mind. I felt like in trance almost. But I felt also I want to have this as soon as possible again.
That was his. Any initial comment? I mean, he was very more humble. I think in that one, I think that he's seen what the players can do, and I think is relieved for the fans that his style and how he wants us to play, and the two new signings, because everybody was impatient. It came to the fruition yesterday, didn't it?
Yeah. I think when you're a manager, you want to see that, though, don't you? You want to see people on the terraces with limbs, and giving it large to their team that just won the game.
Do you know what's really interesting for me was that Tunnel Cam, right? Andy, Tunnel Cam.
Yeah.
When we won with Rooney in charge, they were all jumping up and down, and hats were flying everywhere, and water was going everywhere, and everyone was like, "Oh, it is great." He was just really calm, wasn't he? Just like, we've scored, well done. That's what we're expected to do. It's a much calmer atmosphere, I think, than it was under Rooney. It's sort of the highs and the lows.
Yeah, he's getting the right man.
Let's play Hardy's post-match as well. Sorry, I've looped these together, so they'll do the intro bits.
How are you feeling, having been able to do what you did today?
I think you know me as a person as well as anyone. I'll always be confident when I'm in front of goal I'm going to score. Just been lacking the chances lately, whether that's service, I'm not making the right runs. So I'm not sure a lot of things, but today managed to get the service. I've got in and goal from Puka. It was a great ball. First one we got lucky getting a penalty, but in that situation it's got to keep cool and put it away. So now I'm happy.
Yeah, and there's the post-match presser. I think Clippo got coming next with him as well, just to add.
And the second goal,
that's the last one.
Delicious ball from Puhac, wasn't it, to find in the first place?
Yeah, as I said, maybe a couple of minutes before.
Lovely jubbly.
That's the type of goals you're probably used to seeing me scoring, getting on the end of them through balls and scoring goals. It's managed to just get away from me slightly, but I got the shot off inside, and when you locked in, the ball came back to me, and I managed to put it away in the far post.
There we go. So, as Carl's just asked me in the private chat, I do have this clip as well, which is fantastic to see, which we'll come on to. But just before we do, look, it's as we said earlier with Hardy, it's good to see a striker get back on the score sheet. It does his confidence a world of good. It will lift the squad as well. There's nothing worse when you're missing chances and you know the impact that can have. But if anybody can draw, and actually out of Maxi and Katic, what I noticed with Katic as well is he was using a lot of his experience to organise the back line and telling them to get forward, get back.
Out on the right-hand side,
picked up on that, but this from Maxi.
Slightly out of position. Toliveros as well, sliding back to hold the progress.
When do you see players really do that?
It'll be a West Brom throw. Johnston has it on the left. He's approaching the edge of the penalty area.
This is brilliant.
What would have been worse is if that ball hadn't gone out to touch and he was celebrating his tackle while not dealing with the ball going out. So that would have been an absolute nightmare. So, but yeah, look, it was good to bring that up and see that. It gets the crowd going. An Edwards tackle that you're pitting early in the game to get the crowd going, get the players going. That's what you want to see. So obviously Adam Osman Basic, if I pronounce that right, but I do apologise if not. Obviously,
he's your new mate, isn't he, Mike?
Say again.
He's your new mate, isn't he?
Well, hey, look, we're thrown a few DMs, and he might be watching tonight. But yeah, he did confirm he did have some visa issues, so he's now here. Gavin, just touch upon the interview that he had with Argyle TV.
Right. So the first thing is he's got the most American accent of all American accents in the world, right?
It really surprised me when he opened his mouth. I wasn't expecting an American accent.
So he is like a Sherman tank, right? That's what he is. Fine. Touched on his early years, and then obviously went to America. Interesting to see how he met Meron. So he was watching a game with a fellow coach, and they were watching Circa Bruges, and he was talking about the high press and how great it was and how really impressed he was. And then the guy sat next to him and said, "You didn't know this is a fellow countryman coaching the side," and he was like, "Oh." So had a really good text message exchange for about a year, and then they met each other and fell in love and had babies, and now they're at Argyle. So there you go. Amen.
Yeah.
Great. The one thing I'll say is like he's really, really, really geeky and articulate. So I think he will be like those who watch their fantasy football league. I think he will be the pajamaed Stato. There's a throwback to people of a certain age. He is like an absolute badger of the game, which is great because he will study everyone and blah, blah, blah. But he seems like a really good guy, really, very articulate, just like Meron. So I don't think we're in safer hands than the three that have been brought over with Nance and goalkeeping coach's name, excuse me, sorry. I think we've got a good backroom staff now that all seem to be on the same page.
Yeah, I think, and it's getting all that done. Everybody has alluded to it on Sunday. Sort of everybody was getting impatient with everything. Understandably, sort of it was getting tense and emotional. Sort of as I alluded to in my post yesterday. Sort of the missus and the kids have had to pit up with a pretty miserable me for a while now. But yeah, it's good that it's all sort of coming together, and he's getting the guys in that he needs to, and the club, more importantly, are supporting that, which is great. So yeah, we welcome him to the club, and obviously Eddie Lattimore is doing the fitness side. So it's all coming together. Whether it's too late or not, we'll soon find out.
And there's still potential to bring in more staff members, isn't there? From the last.
Yeah. D-Wolf. Give it a break, Andy.
Well, that brings me on nicely to, if I go to my last slide, we're running on a bit longer than I thought we would do, but everybody, thank you for joining us tonight. We know Argyle Life will be live tomorrow with theirs, with the transfer deadline day, so that should be good fun. I am not going to make an appearance up at Home Park again. It's too busy at work at the moment anyway to do that. But yeah, that should be good. And also, you've got tomorrow night Pilgrims podcast. Tom Kirk will be at the bank doing an interview. And oh my lord, the guy's name escapes me.
Beyond Dublin.
Thank you. So so that should be good as well if you can make that and join that. So yeah, the transfers. So obviously we've had Beidou come in, Pukac, Katic, and Maxi. Who else do we think, Andy? If you believe Andy's rumour mill.
Well, do you know what? I'm just thinking. I still think we're going to see Paddy O'Connor. All right, there you go. I'll say it now. Adrian Zelovic. All right, he'll be coming in as well, and then Alessandra Jatta,
Notts County. Yeah.
So that's three more players coming in, and there's a possibility of the Swansea guy coming in as well, isn't it? Midfielder.
Yeah, and Marcus, what's your thoughts on that? Do you believe all this rubbish that comes out of Andy's tweets, or
poppycock?
Poppycock. No. Andy's an expert. If Andy knows what's going on, if anyone knows what's going on, it's Andy. So I think it's spot on, but I'm not too keen on that false. If someone can't get into a struggling Swansea team, why would he come to us?
You could have said that about Jordan Houghton 3 weeks ago.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, but you're looking at that. The last thing we want is another full short.
Have a look at the Swansea rejects we've had. Morgan Whittaker.
Yeah.
Sorry, point. I swore. Sorry. I'll go wash the mouth out in a minute. Matti Saranola.
Better.
Nathaniel Ogbeta. All cast-offs from the South Wales Liberty Stadium.
I'll rescue you now, Marcus. Nick, what are your thoughts on the transfer?
Great save. I would like to see another striker come in, another centre mid. Who they are, I don't have any names off the top of my head who I'd like to see personally at the moment. But yeah, I think for me, those two areas I would love to strengthen, just to give us another option up front and just another, like I say, just someone a little bit more solid in midfield who can be cover for Houghton, or even, if we can get someone that's just as good or better than Houghton, exactly the same. I mean, for us, I think it's important to improve the squad on what we've got rather than just adding to it as well. I listened to what Musa just said about bringing the right bodies in. At the time, before we signed anybody, I didn't really. I understood it, but I didn't really get it. And having watched the game on Saturday and seeing the two bodies that he's brought in, I get it now. I fully understand what he means. So yeah, I've got faith in what he's doing. I'm sure they've got some options lined up, and if we can get them to get visas, because that seems to be the key one at the moment, is getting people visas and slowing everything down, and getting them in. Then let's do it. Let's get them in.
Yeah, and Carl, obviously, Jimmy D, who's probably had to adjust a lot of things recently, obviously to sort of bring and present options to Muslich in the style that he wants. So, busy boy, absolutely, at this time. So yeah, doing a good job with those 3 out of the 4. No disrespect to Beidou so far.
Yeah, I'm sure we're still working hard over the next 24 hours to get the remaining ones we need in. Hopefully, a centre mid and a striker. I think if we pull off the targets we've been linked with of late, then I think Jimmy's had a good window. But yeah, the criticism he gets sometimes is a bit too much for me. He's only working with the budgets we've got. Some signings work, some don't. It's the same at trying to get the words out, at any club. So yeah, if we can, if we can get Jatta in, which seems to be the striker we're kind of crying out for, that would be a bonus. We linked with the Blackburn one this morning, haven't we? Is it not Ryan Leonard?
Injured,
he played for us.
Yeah.
Leonard, the young chap at Blackburn. Is he injured? Is he?
Yeah.
So that probably won't happen.
Yeah.
And then obviously the Slovenian guy in midfield. If we can get another a tough one in midfield to help out Randall, that would be decent.
Yeah, no, I think there is a lot of options, still on the cards for all we know. It was good to see 2 coming on Friday and clearly show themselves in that game. I mean, any sort of final thoughts on the transfer window, Gavin, from your side?
I had a chat with someone earlier in the week who used to work for the club, doesn't anymore, who said that Mr. David Ray has budgeted for 6 incomings with their salaries and agent fees. Was he hopeful we're going to get all 6? No, but he said that we'd probably get 4 to 5 of the 6. This doesn't include the 2 earlier ones, by the way. So from now, we'd have ended up signing 8 or budgeted for 8. So that fills my heart with a little bit of joy, knowing that there are targets out there that they want. Whether we're going to get them or not, I don't know. I think everybody agrees we need a beast in midfield. We kind of need a Matete or a Panucci Kamara, but on steroids. If we can get someone like that who's a box-to-box leggy who can go, we need a time machine really, because I think Darko JB in 4 or 5 years' time will be exactly what we need, but he isn't there at the minute.
Who was that other one we had in midfield on loan? Was it Diaraga or something? He was pretty decent. He was a centre mid, wasn't he? Yeah.
So I think we need
on Garita.
The prescribed are there, but knowing the club as I do, and Jimmy is very good at keeping secrets, as we all know. And by the way, I have put a tweet out this week in his defence straight after the game on Saturday, which has given me some interesting feedback. Just saying, you can see now you've got some pelters. People owe you some apologies because actually you've done a fantastic job getting those 2 guys over the line. I think Muslich will have 2 or 3 names that he's whispered, and I think they'll come out of left field, and I don't think they're anywhere where we think they're going to be at the moment, and the rumour mill's rife. One midfielder, I'm not so bothered about a striker. I think Jatta, if we can get a really good one, but I'd be more inclined to sort of have 1 or 2 good midfielders in, because otherwise you have an injury now to Randall or to Houghton. We're light again, really.
That's the same for strikers though. If Hardy drops down, which he can do sometimes, and obviously TJ's not fully fit. So.
You've got Hardy, you've got Tijani, and you've got Obafemi. So there's 4.
But they're all massive injuries.
Ben Wayne as well.
That's the trouble. Ben Wayne.
Yeah. We play 2 holding midfielders every game. If one of them goes down, we're screwed, because you're talking Caleb Roberts territory then, unfortunately. To step up and be part of I'm not saying he's a bad player by any stretch, but You need that fight, grit, determination that we've seen from others, and I think he's probably got 12, 18 months before he can demonstrate that.
Yeah,
so
I think,
for me, if we can get 2 midfielders, no striker, I'll be happy.
Yeah, I think it's fair. We said it on last Sunday's pod that, sort of the performances, our league position certainly doesn't favour Argyle, for any agents, that are looking to get their players to clubs. If Argyle knocking on your door, you're not going to just go with them as the only option. And I think, we said that if we can get a result as well against West Brom, which we did, and showed how we're going to play, and the fighting desire for that, it will also help with these last couple of days going into the transfer window. Yep. I mean, looking at the league now, it's closer now. I mean, we're on 25 with Luton and Derby on 27, Hull on 29. So that gap is now closing. So there is light at the end of the Great Escape Tunnel. So we'll see
the other lure, Mike, as well. I think that's interesting is. Oh, by the way, sign for us in your first games, Liverpool in the FA Cup live on ITV.
Yeah,
I was gonna mention something, Mike, that you just touched on as well about the league being so tight. We haven't before Saturday. We hadn't won a game since the 5th of November.
Yeah,
and the points gap the points gap is still only 5 points.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's crazy. It's a crazy league, Nick.
It doesn't make any sense. I mean,
it's the championship in a nutshell, isn't it?
Exactly. It just goes to show what a couple of wins can do. We can get straight out of it. I mean, we're not
about to get shot by my son here, but with his Nerf gun. But don't do that, please. But no, look, go on. It's good. And look, gents, we've made some good time tonight. We appreciate everybody that's joined us tonight. We are the Block 9 podcast. We just bring to you what we bring to you. And we appreciate everybody that's joined us tonight as I try and knock my kid away from me. Nick, it's been really good having you on, and you're welcome to come on whenever. It's a good shout. Please, if you can, tomorrow night, get up to Home Park and help sort out all those plastic pieces for them. Gavin, brilliant as always, and we must sort out that next away game. Carl, Andy, Marcus, look, it's been a really good show. Look, it's transfer deadline day tomorrow. Check out the boys on Argyle Life and see what comes in. If there is anything that comes in late, fingers crossed we get some more through the door. And then we can start focusing towards that FA Cup game. Also, if you want to give us a follow, as I try and click to the slides, this beautiful piece of Photoshop work. So, yes, you can find us on YouTube at Block 9 Podcast, on X at Block 9 Podcast, same on Facebook as well. So you can go in there. Blue Sky, we're on as well. And I'd be doing my wife an injustice. I need to bring my screen to front, not you, Nick. So merchandise. So I'm going to end. So we've been asked, Ben Collins, who's not on the show tonight, who does join us for most of these, has been asking. So I've done a couple of a mug. Oh, look, it's even
got 3 hands.
Me on it. Yeah, 3 hands. And as Ben, my kind assistant there. So the wife did these for me just before the show. So we shall look at getting something done. We can obviously have a mug with all the other memojis that I've done for everybody. So yes, we'll have some bits on there soon if you really want to come on. It does help support what we do. It takes up a lot of time, but it's great to do it. And so other than that, let's see what we get in the FA Cup, but we shall sign off. Thanks, everybody.
Take care, everyone.
Good night, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.